I love improvising.
Hey, you gotta fit, man. You gotta fit it in. I can't find my Red River Jig.
That's crazy.
It's in the back seat, bud.
Oh well. Well, I only have to put all this other music on it. It's gonna get lost. It's gonna get lost eventually.
Good start.
Oh, that was good. Hi, we're here. It's the Mighty Matters Radio Show on Co-op Radio 100.5 FM. And here's your host, Derrick Whiteskycloud.
I am here, folks. Okay, we're here.
Great start.
Good start, hey.
Gremlins. Digital gremlins.
Yeah, hey, we got those guys down the street.
Digital gremlins.
Yeah.
I'm going to play with your stuff.
Talk to me.
You can't escape the gremlins.
Yeah, well, actually, we're going to have Gremlins this weekend. You watch. There's so many things happening, folks. It's crazy out there. So, welcome, everybody. Tanchkia, hello, everybody, and welcome to the Metis Matters Radio on CFRO 100.5 FM. And yes, I am here, and I'm your host, Derrick Whiteskycloud. And there's so many things we would like to talk about. What happened was Mark and I were just basically switching over some of our music, and somehow somebody whoever was there ahead of me took their headset off, got caught in the wires, and as I'm trying to pull the headset out, it got caught, disconnected it, and Mark's going like, what? So sometimes you are in dead air. And I am the dead air.
In dead air land.
Dead air. And so we're going to get this young lady here and have her come on the program. So I'm going to get Mark to give her a call.
So stop having fun and do some work, damn it.
Yeah. We're going to have some fun today. Yeah. Oh, yeah. People are actually, yeah, okay. I also want to welcome everybody in the Facebook chat room. Thank you guys for joining us. This is going to be one heck of a... I guess it's a night tonight because we have, I'm sure all of you have heard, those of our in the Métis community have actually heard that, yes, Mr. David Chartrand and Mr. Clem Chartier are in a little bit of trouble right now, which is the MMF and the MNC. So it's been talked about by other people's programs. People mentioned the story. This is not old news. This has been around for quite a while, and we're bringing this in to share with everybody here because things are going to happen. We need to let you know what's going on in the community now. What I'm going to read to you, folks, that are some of these things that have been going on that has been shared by others. This is not just my research. Other people have been talking about this. So here's the BC Métis Federation actually have spoken to, or actually have received a Twitter from George Barrera, and he says the RCMP investigators interviewed former employees of the Métis Nation National Council. Then the investigators met with departmental officials who launched a financial probe of the MNC, which is still ongoing. So a national Métis organization falsely claiming to be Métis Nation and the sole governing body that makes secret deals and receives lavish funding for years from the Trudeau government, all without the mechanisms for community deliberation and consent, is now the focus of an ongoing investigation. And the questions are, folks, why was this issue kept behind closed doors since last December? and what is the actual result of the review to date. And so this colonial Crown Métis relationship is broken and must change, as it is doomed to fail in the UNDRIP. And that's exactly what's going to be coming up here. This is actually some of the comments from the BC Métis Federation as well. But here's what happens. Actually, I'm going to welcome our guest today. And this is Tobias Clark, and she's actually with the MNO, Métis Nation of Ontario, and she's what you call an old friend. So we've had her on the program before. Tobias, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. How you doing?
Good. You sound like you're in the windy area of your community.
Yeah, I'm just in the car. We're trying to get home.
Okay. That's no problem. So what I'm just sharing with everybody out there right now is the story that Métis National Council's Minister of Finance, David Chartrand, says allegations made to RSMP. He's basically stating that it's false. So I will share this with our listeners and basically what he had said, because some of our listeners may not have read the column. But the federal government launched an ongoing financial probe of the National Métis organization following a meeting with investigators with the RCMP. And CBC News has learned the Federal Crown Indigenous Relations Department hired Ernst & Young to conduct a compliance audit that began in July of 2018 of the Métis National Council, which is the MNC, which receives millions of dollars annually from the federal government for its operations. The audit was launched after department officials met with investigators from the RCMP's Sensitive and International Investigations Unit, who had opened a case on the MNC, according to the email correspondence between the former employees and RCMP investigators obtained by the CBC News. Now, the RCMP investigators approached the department after interviewing 3 former employees of the MNC. CBC News has spoken to 2 of the 3 former employees and reviewed email correspondence confirming the interview with a 3rd employee. The complaint from the former employee filed with the RCMP obtained by the CBC News, and the names of the 2 individuals is advisory roles with the MNC who own or owned or are connected to the companies that have received hundreds of thousands of dollars in contracts from the organization over the last 4 years. Now, CBC News agreed to withhold the names of the 2 former employees over concerns revealing their identity could affect their current jobs. The complaint alleged that some federal funds transferred to the organization for Métis programs were redirected through doubled payments for travel, expenses, and equipment, and through contracts to a select group of companies and consultants. Now, none of the allegations has resulted in any charges or been proven in court. David Chartrand, the MNC's finance minister and president of the Manitoba Métis Federation, told the CBC News the allegations were false and that the organization has nothing to hide. Chartrand denied the existence of the RCMP investigation or that there were any financial improprieties and proprietaries with the way that the MNC conducts its business. And the Crown Indigenous Relations and Northern Affairs Canada has asked Ernst & Young with examining transactions between 2015 and 2018, according to the December 24th, 2018 letter sent to the MNC by Jean-Marc Lafreniere, Director of the CIRNAC's Assessment and Investigation Services Branch, which was provided to the CBC News by the MNC, and CBC is not responsible for the third-party content. Lafreniere's letter said the department received allegations over the procurement of the professional services and the reimbursement of expenditures which may have resulted in departmental funding being used for ineligible expenditures. Now, the CIRNAC told CBC News in the statement that its Assessment and Investigation Services branch retained Ernst & Young LLP on July the 11th, 2018 to conduct a governed to conduct a financial review of his contribution agreement with the MNC. Now, contribution agreements govern how funds from the department to the organization should be spent, and as the financial review is not yet finalized, the department cannot comment further. It said that the statement that the RCMP's National Division sent a statement to the CBC News saying that the federal police force does not confirm or deny existence of ongoing investigations, and the RCMP's investigative file remained open as of March 2019, while investigators the end of Ernst & Young audit, according to the emails obtained by CBC News. Now, there have been a lot of responses from other people out there, and they're talking about the MNC's funding from Ottawa has grown to nearly $8 million in 2018 from approximately $3 million in 2015, according to its yearly audited financial reports. David Chartrand said the MNC has never contacted by police investigators, and there is no RCMP investigation. The RCMP never investigated anything, according to Chartrand. Now, what we have read here is the RCMP wouldn't look into it, and it was passed back to the federal department, said Chartrand. And Chartrand said the organization has been cooperating with Ernst & Young. Now, basically, there's more to the story. And so I thought, you know what, I'm going to have a little look. And what I had done was I went on their website, on the MNC's website, and I found some interesting things. So, and this is part that I'm sure Tobias is actually curious about, because I'm sure she may have looked herself. If you look at the revenues on their website, this is basically year-end revenue. And on there, in 2018, Indigenous Northern Affairs Canada, they received $6,196,861 plus. Okay. Indigenous Northern Affairs Canada, $6 million. Or it's almost $7 million. For what? In Winnipeg. Okay. Now, this is MNC's page. This is Saskatchewan. This is their they're supposed to be, MNC received all this in where they are in Ontario. Now, Environmental Canada gave them, or they actually, whatever environment they're doing with Environmental Canada, they actually made $102,500. Now, anybody who's an accountant will, they always go by the numbers. But here's one thing that really gets me. I can travel across Canada and back home, whether I fly or take a hotel room. There's no way it would cost me $1 million in 1 year to travel. And I'll tell you why. It says travel, accommodation, meals, and facilities. They actually are claiming, or had claimed, 1 year's worth, folks, $3,232,934. $3 million in travel. Who in the hell is traveling with David and Clem Charche?
Yeah.
Okay, now, I mean, Tobias, what do you think?
Well, you know what? It's interesting because I've been trying to get confirmed numbers just on the M&O's part for how much a meeting costs, a PCM&O meeting.
Yeah.
And, and number one, in today's day and age, there's no need for everybody to have to be traveling everywhere in the first place. So let's just put that out there. We have so much great technology that, and we have electronic signing, we have all sorts of different tools. There's really no reason why we should be in these astronomical excessive amounts for expenditures when it comes to traveling, accommodations, things like that. But, from what I'm being told is an average, major meeting with the entire council in that, you're looking at almost $50,000.
Yes.
But even at that, to me, it's absolutely blowing my mind. When I saw that, about that $3 million, I'm like, I had the exact same question. Who else are they bringing? How many people is that entailing? Why is there not an actual breakdown? I'm sorry, but if you're going to be a responsible leader, under your name should have your breakdown as to how much it's cost for you to be accommodated, for you to be making your appearances and have your attendance there. And instead, they bulk it all together, and it just really does. It really begs the question, because I know in the PCM&O, now I'm not saying any of them have the M&O pay for their spouses or their grandkids or any of that stuff, But, I remember the one PCMNO meeting that I attended, the one PCMNO, her grandchild is running around in the morning for breakfast. And there's, listen, in all fairness, if you're out on the road a lot, there's a bit of a perk where you can bring your family. And I believe that her family had actually paid for their own way. But still, when we look at it, what about the food? What about, all the little other things, even just like air miles? They all keep their air miles.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, you know what? I don't agree with that. For me, for where I work, if I ever had to take a plane, which I don't, but I do know our policies of anybody that does have to take any planes, they are not permitted to keep their air miles on their personal air miles. So, these people are getting excessive amount of air miles, going away on big trips that are fully paid for, and for what? For actually doing your job?
Well, here's one thing actually I read also in their expenditures. Their revenue in the beginning actually says is $6,196,861. Now, this is their revenue. Okay, if they're making that much money, who is getting it? Where is it going? Okay.
Well, look at their legal fees, their professional fees.
Oh, well, yeah, but you know how much their legal fees are? Here, I'll just...
Is that over $2 million or something?
Oh, yeah. Let's see, let's go to their legal fees. Let's see here, what did I write down here? Legal fees. And they also got this thing called amortization.
Yes.
Amortization. And I never heard of amortization before ever in my life. And I thought, okay, what does it mean? So I went online, and it says the meaning of amortization means the action or process of gradually writing off the initial cost of an asset.
Yes, absolutely, because you can only write off so much each year.
Exactly. So here's what this is what gets me. Amortization is $5,163. Okay, and that's on the expenditure. On the revenue is $4,003. Just if you look at the thing about just that sounds normal to me. 4,000. But when all of a sudden you look at the very top and it says Indigenous and Northern Affairs Canada, they gave them $6 million plus dollars, and this is MNC, and then Environment Canada. I thought they're both the same. Environment Canada and Indigenous Northern, they also got $102,500.
Yeah, and that's where an FOI would come into play to find out what were the parameters around that funding. Right? Was that funding specifically for administration costs, and what's included in that? Because I'll tell you right now, my son actually shot off an email because he was curious about our youth conference for the M&O youth. They're shipping in 100 youth to our AGA.
Yeah.
And, that's just kind of, in many of our opinions, and can't confirm it, but many of our opinions, that's them trying to stack the AGA with like-minded individuals for their agenda.
Yeah.
And interesting is my son ended up getting an email back because he wanted to know how much is it going to cost to send the youth to the AGA, and he also wanted to know because I ended up discovering that the youth, our youth in the M&O, received a funding grant, and it was under the I'm just trying to think. It's the Urban Indigenous Planning, somewhere along there. The Urban Programming for Indigenous Peoples funding.
Yeah.
And now, so tell me this, how, and I looked at the parameters around that funding, I have no idea how they're making that funding fit into what they're doing with the AGA, because they're also extending using that funding to keep all the youth there throughout the AGA. And it's costing $1,800 on average is what they're telling my son for each youth to attend. That's 100 times $1,800. That is insane to me.
Yeah, it is.
That's insane. And so I would have to beg to question those two, the two government programs.
Yeah.
As to what's their funding allocation for the MNC.
Well, here's something else. This is something that I'm going to bring up too. I looked at office expenses and printing. Now, you know what a lawyer does. I mean, a lawyer, they do a lot of photocopying. You know, papers are coming out galore like crazy. And I asked a friend of mine who's a lawyer, and I said, on the average, how much do you claim on your office expenses of photocopies, you know, that sort of thing? He says, oh, around about 50, 60,000 a year, right? That's on the average, 50, 60,000. This says here, office expenses and printing, $204,513. Like, you might as well buy a house and put the fax machine in your house.
Yeah.
You know, and then here's the biggest part, folks. Their rent. Okay, they have a 2-story brick house in Ontario. This is MNC, Métis Nation of whatever. Anyways, MNC actually has a building that they're supposed to be renting, not owning it. Supposed to be not owning it. They're renting it. And it says, because it says rent, okay? They're spending in rent $236,778 a year, okay? Which breaks it down, this is 1 month's rent, $19,731.50 a month. Now, I have never, if you're going to do that a month, you might as well own a freaking castle. You know what I mean? Like, what
that's absurd. Never heard of anything like that.
I mean,
it's an actual castle.
Have you ever paid that much rent in your life? Per month?
No. That's crazy.
I can see you paying $19,000 a year, you know, for your rent, but
now, is there confirmation as to who owns that building?
What I understand, what someone told me, was the building is owned by David Chartrand's wife.
Oh.
And apparently that's why David Chartrand is the finance minister for MNC. Like, he actually takes care of the income. So if I'm correct, if I hear this, that his wife owns the building and that she's renting it back to MNC, isn't that what you call double dipping?
Well, yeah, it's conflict of interest for sure, right?
It is conflict of interest.
That should not be allowed. Yeah. It's unethical. It's absolutely unethical. And I think, you know, like everything, it seems like everything the last year plus just has been like soaking wet with unethical actions.
This is what I'm trying to figure out, because basically, I mean, I've heard so many people tell their stories. I've heard so many people sending me their shows of their people where they're talking about what happened, what David Chartrand's been doing, MNC's been doing, MMS been doing. You know, I support their cause. I mean, everybody has a cause, but this is you know, the word has to get out. You know, as many radio, television people need to get the word out. Why is the Métis being ignored? Why? How come we have small organizations that are Métis? We got the BC Métis Federation. There's no way in heck they can make this much money a year. MNBC actually got themselves in trouble a few years ago. They put themselves into debt. But doesn't mean they made a whole major profit. So how is it that they got them, MNBC put themselves in debt into $8 million. I can't figure that one out. It's all to do with, I think they bought a building. But the fact is, that's what they did. And it's a mistake in their part. That's fine. But this one here is profit. $6 million plus in profit. This is basically, they're not lacking any income. They're making income. So you can't say David Chartrand knows how to do money because he works in the stock market, because he doesn't.
Yeah, no, it's just, it seems like every time you turn around, Dave, there's something new that comes out.
It does. Anyways, we're going to have a quick break, folks, and we're going to throw a song on, because this coming weekend we have the Surrey Fusion Festival coming up, and our good friend JJ LaValle will be playing on stage at the Surrey Fusion Festival in the Indigenous Village, and he's actually a two-time Juno Award fiddle player. And I thought, you know what, I'm going to play one of JJ's songs. In honor of the Eastern Coast folks, it's going to be called the Quebec Reel. JJ LaValle, CFRO 100.5 FM.
I'm going to turn up a bit. Just like my computer, it's the same thing feature. It always shuts down the volume.
That's what it does,
Like,
yeah, it just kicks it.
Yeah. My computer does it all the time. That's what picture. It doesn't quite play anything.
We'll throw the Surrey Fusion Festival.
Super foamy on this. They keep taking it off. Okay, well, I'll take it.
Okay.
It's a foamy one of those. So funny about doing in Houston's with Don Larson. He doesn't take advantage of the fact that we play music to get himself organized. That's the whole point. But he never does. He likes the show to be a shambles with us.
Happens.
But I'm always tired. Don was pile of papers, his analog computer. Doesn't have a computer, doesn't want a cell phone. I'm surprised Crab Park went on as long as it did without that. He expected everyone else to send out emails and stuff. Just refused to get a phone or a computer with internet access. Just wouldn't learn.
Some people like that. Some people like the old school.
You can't organize a festival. When you organize a festival like that, you can't. I'm surprised it went as long as it did. Yeah, I'm not going to pick up the card. I hate dealing with bureaucrats. Hard enough time dealing with bands and different PAs set up.
Saturday, July 20th and Sunday, July 21st. Join us to celebrate the 11th annual Surrey Fusion Festival at Holland Park. Come and enjoy over 50 cultural pavilions with food and artwork from around the globe. Experience 6 different stages with music, dance, and cooking demos. This family-friendly event includes a kids' zone and performers from across the world. Join us at Holland Park in Surrey for 2 days of food, music, culture, and fun. The 2019 Fusion Fest, Saturday, July 20th and Sunday, July 21st from 11 a.m. to 10.
Natasha are not Russian, they're continental.
Yeah, we are back. CFRO 100.5 FM, Métis Matters Radio, here in beautiful downtown Cooperative Radio here in Vancouver. Yes, folks. And I want to say this too. I want to do my little personal radio disclaimer. The views expressed and opinions given by the individual, which is me, the host, and my guests, do not necessarily reflect those of CFRO 100.5 FM, your cooperative radio network, its affiliates, and or sponsors. This basically is called covering my butt, saving the station, because I have a mouth on me that doesn't want to quit. Anyways, I want to share with some of your listeners also. Coming up, also, like I said, this coming weekend is July 20th and 21st at 11 a.m. to 10 p.m. It's on both Saturday and Sunday. We'll be set up. You'll see in my video. I just finished doing a previous video me being on location where the teepees have already been set up on in Holland Park. And these are huge teepees. These are 24, 26, and a 30-footer. And I get the 30-foot teepee. Bigger one. I like them big. More room to move around. But when you see the inside when it's all set up, and if you guys are able to come down, those are in the BC region, if you're able to come down this way, I'd love to hear from you and see you there. Also, Co-op Radio will be there, set up right next to us. There'll be a booth set up, so we're looking for all of our radio program show hosts, if necessary, to come on down. Or if you wanted to support some of your favorite hosts, come over and say hi to them, because they'll be at the booth. And it's going to be a lot of fun to do. I will be there too once in a while, go back and forth between the booth, and I'm hoping that Mark shows up. Mark's good.
I mind it's near a SkyTrain, unlike the Folk Music Festival.
Yeah.
It's way out there in Jericho. Mark, you're going to come? Like, no.
Well, we got a SkyTrain across the street.
I don't know if I have the strength without a SkyTrain.
Well, there's a SkyTrain just across the street.
Yeah, I know. I know, that's what makes it a little more favorable, yeah.
And he'll go, hey, and then he'll go back to another one.
Well, it's just, it's people who are lucky enough to still live in Vancouver. Going to Jericho is not a big deal. But if you don't, it's a bit of a pain.
Speaking of Jericho, yes, folks, Jericho Beach is actually going to be the Vancouver Folk Music Festival, July the 19th to the 21st at Jericho Beach Park. And that another is a big one, too. I mean, I used to go to that one a lot. And as you'll see here, there's quite a few musicians that are playing over there, 3 nights and 2 days. 5 daytime and 2 evening stages, and plus there's going to be some beer and wine, arts market, kids activities, gourmet food vendors, secure bike parking, and you'll see on the Facebook chat room, you can see the listing of all these great musicians and entertainers going to be on there entertaining you. I was part of that many years ago at Jericho Beach, and I was there as a vendor to sell my wares, and I met quite a few actors that came for a visit too. It's kind of cool. Co-op Radio is also one of the sponsors on this of this event. It's like Co-op is really getting out there, folks. I mean, we are strongly supporting getting out there, getting more involved in multicultural programs and shows. Coming up also too, Skeena Valley Country Music Festival is happening August the 9th to the 11th, and it's actually taken at Thornhill Community Center, 3091 Century Street. Up in Terrace, yes, folks, up in Terrace. If you want to contact Rennie or Elizabeth, Rennie, his phone number is 250-638-0483. That's 250-638-0483. It's $35 for the weekend, music and dance, on-site camping included, and concessions. And the people that are playing there are the Hamsters, Tim and Pat Frayne, Herb and Ross, Earl and Ryan Haviland, Forget Me Nots, Just for Fun, Spring Fever and Friends, 97 South, Borderline, Shallow Waters, and it's open mic and much, much more. And you can also, there's outside camping, folks, including in concessions too, so it's worth your while to go down there if you want to take a trip for that weekend, 3 days, and up in Terrace, BC. Also, there's also the 7th annual Metis Jamboree and Cultural Days, and that's August the 15th, 16th, and 17th at McLeese Lake Hall. And the JJ LaValle will be there entertaining you as well. The bands up there will also be playing is Kishu, Lucier Brothers, and Border Band, and much more. If you want to get a hold of the Caribou Chilcotin Métis Association, that's 250-392-4428, 250-392-4428. There's food, fun, music, you name it, and lots of new friends who want to meet and greet. It's going to be a lot of fun to do. And also with that Fusion Festival, folks, that I want to mention too, we got our good friend of ours, and her name is Donna Lee. And Donna Lee will be down there too. She's called a Bannock Queen, and she'll be making some of her favorite baked frieds and cinnamon sugar bannocks. And if you ever want to even maybe order something personal for yourself, for your family, or lunches, you name it, give her a scream. And her phone number is 778-888-5991, and get a hold of her. But like I said, she'll have her own personal booth out there, and it's worth your while, folks. So, anyways, we're gonna come back, and our good friend of ours, Tobias Clark, and she's actually up in Ontario. I think she pulled over because I don't hear as much wind.
That's because I have the volume down.
Ah, okay. So, what do you think of all these wonderful things that are happening? I'm hoping that you're going to come down and say, "Come and join us."
No, yeah, everything that's going, like you're talking about, you were just, all the different events, eh?
Yeah, we got so many events all over
It's
here.
crazy. I cannot believe how much stuff you guys have going on. Like, it's really, really nice to see. It's so nice to see.
Well, like I like to try and get myself out there as much as I can to be part of the community, and I try to create be part of as many events as possible. And I like to show up in my regalia. I'm not just throwing on a sash and say, "Here I am." I try to bring in the history, and because I'm actually the cultural director of our Métis Museum. That the museum will also be there on location as well. So people get to see some of the artifacts that, there's no way you'll actually find something that's made in the 1850s. And we have some of these items that are actually we have in our museum that people get to see and display how beautiful the handwork. Say for example yourself, I was actually on your page yesterday, and you're just finishing doing some moose tufting or tufting yourself. Well, we have the very same thing that actually this moose tufting we have is over 100 years old.
Oh, wow, really, eh?
And so when I'm looking at this and going like, too bad she's not down here. She gets to see something that's very old and gives her some ideas and maybe she doesn't know about. But just like we'd like to tease Tobias to come down here just to see,
Well, I'm definitely going to have to make my way down there.
Yeah. Well, she could bring her canoe.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Actually, yeah, the tufting that I'm doing is actually deer hair tufting.
Deer hair, okay. That's close enough.
When you don't have moose hair or caribou right now, you use deer.
Yeah, and all she'll be standing there when she's working so hard, she goes, "Oh dear."
Yeah. Yeah. No, yeah, you guys have a lot of amazing stuff going on. And I know that even in Ontario, we have a lot of stuff going on, but it's by a whole bunch of the different communities, right? Not just the M&O community. And I know the one community, it was actually one of the very first rendezvous my folks and I and the kids went to, oh my gosh, years and years ago. It was through the Fiddle and the Sash Association. And we were invited down as a vendor because that's what we did is we traveled around and sold our jewelry, our furs, and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And it was just, I tell you, one heck of an amazing event. But, yeah, there's lots of little things going on. But, I find sometimes, especially with the environment that's out there right now with the Métis community, a lot of our good things that are going on in the grassroots level are just kind of overshadowed by all the other.
I've been noticing. I was watching some of looking at some of your reviews, some of your investigative reviews that you've been doing on your Facebook page. Oh my, what the hell is going on with MNCPCP? Like I don't know, it sounds like PCP.
MNO.
MNO, but not just MNO, but there's so much happening with you guys, and what the heck is going on in Ontario?
Yeah, well, our PCMNO ended up going and signing the self-government framework, and and just to make it really clear, I've got no problem with self-government, absolutely not. I think that every nation has a right to self-govern themselves.
Yeah.
But what I don't like is when things are done not in a good way. When there's no meaningful consultation, no community input, nothing like that. And that's exactly what happened.
Yeah.
There was absolutely no community input other than a meeting with the PCMNO, which is our provisional council, and captains of the hunt and presidents. And I do not feel any president in the MNO at any community level has the right to sign off on behalf of their community without the community's input. And, that's not how we're supposed to be behaving. And I think that type of behavior is bad behavior, and it's selfish behavior. They signed it with the feds. It's come to light. It's going to take many years for it to actually come into effect.
Mm-hmm.
But now there's another framework called the implementation framework, and some councils have already signed it without having community engagement. We have our consultation with it, and I'll be attending next week And all I can say is from a perspective of our community council on behalf of our community that I represent, nothing will be signed until it's taken back to our council for discussion, for input, and an actual community consultation. Our community deserves to have a say and to review themselves. And for us to take that away is like looking at our community saying, you're all small children and you don't know what you're talking about. So, mom and dad know best. Well, you know what? I'm only a mom to 3 people in this world. Nobody else. So it's pretty crazy. We've got our AGA coming up, and all of our special resolutions have to be in by Friday. So many of us have been working pretty hard to get our special resolutions written up. And
how many people are helping you do this?
There's a few. I've got about 5 different people that are immediate contacts.
Okay.
Other people have faxed me stuff.
They have a fax? You got faxes?
Yeah. And, I know, right? And so we have been getting stuff that's coming in. However, there's more people actually helping reviewing the special resolutions.
Yeah.
So that there's, a 3rd and a 4th and a 5th eye on it to see, we don't want to have anything thrown out because they will have their legal counsel. So the M&O legal counsel will be there, and they will be looking for any little thing to throw out any of our resolutions. So, it's going to be very stressful.
Is the legal counsel going to be there and the president as well? Is she going to tell them what to do, or is she playing her role as in I'm the president and I can do whatever I want? Like, is she like Trudeau, that I can pass whatever I want and I can take money whenever I want. I can get rid of people whenever I want.
You know what? Listen, apparently there was a resolution that was passed at the PCMNO table where no PCMNO meeting could ever happen outside of the province of Ontario, which makes sense. You're the PCMNO, right? You're there to represent, and all your citizens have a right to attend. You need to be within Ontario.
Yep.
Well, in June they actually had a meeting in Quebec. I thought Quebec was interesting considering they don't see, why are you taking Metis business in Quebec if they apparently don't believe there's any Metis in Quebec? Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Like,
I'm surprised they didn't take it to Nova Scotia.
Yeah, right. That kind of business. They made their own. Now, I don't know if they made another resolution to override the past resolution, but they don't even listen to their own darn resolutions. So, who knows?
Yeah, but who made that resolution at first? I mean, was that passed by a committee long before? And this is a new committee?
It was passed with this current PCMNO, and I believe it was when Margaret Fro was off, or when she had just come back when she was sick. And they had passed it because they had held a PCMNO meeting out of province. And some of the other PCMNO councillors were upset because they were like, well, we can't attend out of province and you guys can't be having a meeting. So apparently there was a resolution made. And, so it was actually with the current PCMNO. So maybe
Margaret Fro told them to go to Quebec.
Yeah, and I think it was the day before the signing. I think it was June 26th that they held their meeting.
But she's supposed to also read everything that was passed. And if she didn't, then she's not a president.
Well, I'd like to not have her as our president. We'll have to see what happens at our wonderful AGA because it's going to be a pretty heated AGA. Ooh. But it's going to be heated.
There's going to be booze, and not talking about. I'm not talking about drinking either.
Yeah, exactly. So. But, we've also had a really huge disruption, too. A really big hit to people's spirits right now within certain regions is we went through that verified and not verified process where, if you had all your documents and you're linking to certain very specific areas, you were verified as Section 35 Metis. And if you didn't, then you were not verified. Now, there's a huge amount of people that received their verification letter saying that they were verified, also received their brand new cards, and they just went to the mailbox the other day, opened up a letter, and it says, "We're sorry, your file has been amended because it was reassessed. You are now no longer verified."
What? So who's playing the game?
Yeah, exactly. It's really upsetting. We've got quite a few families that are they're just absolutely livid. And it's interesting too, because some of the families, they were really, really adamant on making sure that this verification was going through. And you know what? That's just it. If you don't have an inclusive mind, there's going to come a day when you're not included. And if you don't support inclusivity and diversity, oh my gosh, it's going to bite you, because you're going to be on the other side of that fence one day. And sure as heck, some of them are. And there's some of other ones that have been fighting this fight even when they thought they were verified, and now they're not verified. And it's just, it's just giving them more punch to their fighting spirit, because people are done now and they are ready to fight.
Well, there's two things that people will say to me. One person said to me, there should never be a Métis Nation of Canada. And then someone else, because they're saying that it's all, just one specific organization across Canada. They also said another one too, which is Clint Charche, in one of his interviews, he actually stated that he was very afraid that others will start a brand new Métis organization. What's he afraid of? If others will start a brand new Métis organization, what's he afraid of? He's afraid that the government's going to actually go their way, and he'll be just no longer, because basically he was really pushing so hard the word Métis Nation. Okay, we are the Métis Nation, and then when they kept pushing that word, we're the Métis Nation, and I thought, okay, well, include everybody else, because everybody has been fighting for you all these years, and all of a sudden you stab us in the back.
Yes.
Okay, we're supposed to come together as a family, as a group, and a community to help support each other and carry on the history of the Métis. But all of a sudden, we have individuals are saying, "No, I need to make my $6 billion or $6 million, and so I don't want to include you in, because then I won't get as much money as everybody else."
Yeah,
so,
and that's the unfortunate thing with that idea of your equality, right? You feel that if somebody else is going to be provided equality,
yes,
it takes away from yours, and that's just not true.
Yeah, and also people are saying too that others are having difficulty. Say, for example, they want to get onto CBC or APTN or any other global television just to basically tell their story. For some reason, some of these stations don't want to talk to you, but if you're a higher up in a position, like say the MNC or MMF, they go right directly to them and they'll say, "Oh, they're crazy. Just talk to us first."
Yeah, and that's a real problem with the media right now.
Yeah, they're following people. They're thinking that they're the only ones that they are correct. And how do you know? Because politicians do lie. Yeah. I don't care if you're a politician. The fact is, if you're a president of something or a vice president of something, and if you lied, you get caught.
Politicians lie? Wow. Since when?
That's Mark. Since when?
Well, and that's a problem, right? We need to reestablish. I'm a firm believer in the 7 grandfather teachings. We need to reestablish that and embed that back into our communities, because it isn't just the higher ups that are being deceitful right now, that are being greedy and are only thinking of their immediate families. I have 3 really important people in my life, and those are my 3 kids. But I'm not going to sacrifice anybody else's children for my 3 children. That's not the right thing to do. And, what are you showing your young ones? And, what type of ethics are you embedding in them? And this is the problem with some of the folks in the communities, is they're very narrow-minded, very short-sighted, and it's very, very sad.
Okay, so what are your plans? I mean, know that you're organizing one of the, I guess to say, having to deal with your special resolutions But is it just this, or you have anything else planned that you really want to like face off with Margaret Fro?
You know what? Like, Margaret Fro is really, honestly, for me, such an insignificant speck.
Ooh.
And,
Ooh.
you know,
You heard
she
that,
really
folks.
is.
You heard that.
I look at it, and I'm not trying to be mean. Like, I don't know Margaret Fro personally. You know what I mean? Like, for all I know personally, on a personal level, she's a great person.
No.
But when it comes to this whole political ring, that's the only way that I know her. And, you know, she is instrumental in many things. But really, for me, my biggest issue is getting our whole community on board. Margaret Fro is only one voice.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care about just that one voice who's trying to destroy a nation. I care about the community, and I care about that collective voice, because that's what's the most important thing here, is making sure that our community comes back together, because boy, oh boy, are we ever divided.
It's getting crazy. I mean, it's not just there; it's here too. Because the MNBC actually, when the MNC actually voted them in to say that who's Métis and who's not, I went like, "Are you freaking crazy?" Because when they told Keith Henry and the late Ken Fisher that we're nothing but a club, to the BC Métis Federation, we're nothing but a club, or that we're not a real organization, I went like, "Screw you, bud." You know, like Keith and Ken have done more for the community, more than most any organization in this West Coast, and you know, as leaders, and they don't realize Keith works his butt off. Keith Henry works his butt off. He travels across the world. He's actually the CEO of Indigenous Tourism Canada. He's president of the BC Métis Federation. This guy's got many hats. He has, you know, and he's trying to promote Indigenous tourism. And then people say, "Oh, he's not really doing his job." Yes, he's doing. That's why we're here for the Fusion Festival. That's why we do so many events. Because if it wasn't for Keith Henry, myself, Ken Fisher, and many other people that support this, they'd be there. I mean, I try to encourage people that are involved in any Métis community. I don't care if you got politics. Just don't bring it here. You know, I mean, not in the program, yes, but on site, don't bring the politics. Let's talk about community. Let's talk about, you know, we're not going to say who is and who's not. Just join us and have fun. That's what this whole thing's about. Nothing more. Mm-hmm. But for some reason, they want to divide us up, and they're just as bad as a politician. They want to divide up a country like Trump, and he's trying to do the same thing with his own country in the U.S., and I don't like to see that in our country. And if people are learning from this guy, you know what? I know you may watch a TV series he had on years ago. No, it's not. I never cared for the show because it was all to do with being. He was just cocky. Just kept on saying, "You're fired," and then you know what? Him playing the president of the United States, he's firing everybody.
Something wrong with the system in general to start with.
Big time.
Last year's election, God, what a clown show that was. A psychopath and a narcissist. Take your pick.
Yeah, and then the guy starts using racial slurs on his own, on his own people. I mean, I'm going like, whoa, this has gone too far. And he's picking on the women like crazy. So I mean, I don't like to see this here in Canada. And so, like, I'd like to see. That's why Tobias. That's why I have faith in this girl in the Ontario region. She's going to be kicking butt and taking names because I know very well. And this is from my listeners. I'm making a prediction. This is my prediction. My prediction is that Tobias Clark will be president of the MNO.
Well, I don't know about that.
Whoa. Do you know what I do for a living, my dear?
Yes, and I know, and my mother loves it. Because my mother, seriously though, my mother is very in tune. And she's like, "Do you know what he also does? I'm going to buy his book." Oh, yeah. But, you know, like, final thoughts, like, for me, and not like that it's a Jerry Springer episode, but, you know, for me, all I would love to see, honestly, is in the future. It may not happen now, may not happen next year. But you know what? There's no reason why all the Métis communities, and I mean all, doesn't have to be Métis Ontario. It can be every different, president or chief, however they want to call themselves for their communities, all come together and work collectively. We don't have to form one group. We can all still be our own identity in our own community and represent them appropriately in how they want it.
Representation.
But why can't we have annual meetings with everybody? Where's everybody at? What can anybody do for each other? And, that's what it's supposed to be about. If we want to be a true Métis people, that's it right there.
Big time. I want to thank you so much for joining our show, my dear.
Thank you for having me again.
Yeah, thank you. Tobias Clark, if you want to find her, give her a scream. Go Tobias Clark, just with an E on the end of the Clark, and go to Facebook and write to her and tell her what you think of the program and what do you think of her and her intentions, what her job is. Give her strong support because that's what she's trying to do. Thank you, folks, for listening in. You guys have fun. We'll see you guys at the Surrey Fusion Festival this weekend. I will see you guys there. Have fun and be good to each other. And this is Métis Matters Radio signing off. CFRO 100.5 FM. Beautiful downtown Vancouver here, Co-op Radio. Take care, guys. The Chip Reel. New Chip Reel.